Tonight, more hip pocket pain for residents in the mid-north with a council rate rise on the cards and free public Wi-Fi switched on in a coastal Eyre Peninsula town.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. It's bittersweet news for residents of the Northern Areas Council with a rate increase of 8% on the cards. Council is vowing, though, this will be the last time they rise, with charges set to drop below the 5% mark next year.
A not-so-shocking increase for ratepayers in the Northern Areas Council, but still a hard pill to swallow.
But this figure of 8% is a figure that's been known by the community for the last 7 years.
Council says the rate increase comes as the town's assets are deteriorating.
Council infrastructure was old and declining and needed to be fixed. Rates had been low for a number of years before that, so a plan had to be put in place.
It plans to spend $1.72 million on road resheeting, as well as maintaining normal council duties.
Spending just over $500,000 on resealing bitumen roads, making sure they're there, and we're actually spending about $250,000 on a new project looking at sealing roads in towns that haven't been sealed before.
But there is some relief in sight. After 7 long years, ratepayers will finally see an end to the 8% increase next year.
This year is the end of the 8% increases, and it was going to drop to around the 5%, but with rate capping coming in, we've now looked at that at 3% for the next 10 years.
The Northern Areas Council is calling upon locals to have their say at a public consultation meeting tomorrow night. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Tumby Bay has become the first town on the Eyre Peninsula to launch its own free public Wi-Fi network. Local leaders hope it'll be an added benefit for both locals and those stopping to visit the region.
Accessing free Wi-Fi across Tumby Bay, now a reality. An initiative from the local council and regional development board means the new network is now available throughout the town's CBD.
It's our first on Eyre Peninsula. It's absolutely amazing. Regional Development Australia was thrilled to support these guys to put in an application.
The speed's gone up and the whole network is live.
It's a project the local mayor has been rallying for several years and was made possible through an ANZ grant.
It's been something that's been on my list for a while. It is exciting, and to be the one that's testing the water, I think a lot of the other towns and communities are going to be looking at putting this in place.
While the public Wi-Fi is an extra way to boost tourist numbers to the coastal town, it's also being enjoyed by the locals too.
It's great. I think it's great for the community and great for Tumby Bay.
It's a good technology for visitors and locals, so we have got the opportunity for locals who don't have an internet connection at home to be able to utilise it, and also obviously visitors coming in who want to have some sort of connectivity.
And we really want people to upload and share how wonderful the Eyre Peninsula is.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
A man will face court after allegedly being caught driving 5 times the legal limit. Just after 2:30 this morning, police stopped a car on Flinders Avenue in Whyalla Stewart and breath tested the driver. Officers say the 47-year-old from Port Augusta blew .237. They say he was also driving while disqualified. The man lost his licence on the spot for a year and his car was impounded for 28 days. Mining company Havilah Resources has sold the mining lease of 2 Broken Hill gold mines to another local company. Consolidated Mining and Civil has taken over the Portia and North Portia sites at a cost of $14 million.
Havilah and CMC started out as equal partners on the Portia project, based on the mine having a short lifespan.
That expanded to CMC actually stepping up and running the processing plant as well, and the relationship kept evolving.
Now CMC has bought the mining lease, taking in the Portia and North Portia projects.
We are comfortable that CMC is the right partner and the right party to actually take that North Portia project into production.
The sale allows Havilah to focus on 2 core projects of its copper strategy: gold, cobalt and copper deposits at its Mutooroo and Kalkaroo sites. Kalkaroo alone contains over 600,000 tonnes of copper and 2 million ounces of gold.
Mutooroo is the one that we think we can get up and running before Kalkaroo. So our funding that we received from this transaction would be focused on Mutoru and advancing that project and getting that into production as quickly as we can.
In a statement, CMC Managing Director Steve Radford says Broken Hill will add another miner to its community, with CMC joining Perilia, CBH, Crystal Mining and Pinnacles, shoring up the city's future. He believes the copper gold deposit at North Portia could last over a decade.
We're very excited about this opportunity, and I think we're very fortunate to have a partner like CMC in a place like Broken Hill.
Havilah will continue to receive its current 15% gold revenue stream from Portia until November. Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
An Aboriginal health service has played host to a wellbeing day focused on the physical and mental health of Indigenous people. The day aimed to address issues affecting Aboriginal communities in a culturally sensitive way.
Around the ground, people gathered together while digging into some native bush tucker to hear information from local health organisations, all with the goal of increasing awareness about their mental and physical health. The day turns attention to the detection and management of chronic illnesses.
We engage our community to access medical services to complete an annual health check.
Organisers are also exploring traditional methods of health treatment, like natural healers and bush medicine.
You can't survive for 60,000 years in this kind of environment and not have a situation where these people actually know bush medicines and ways of treating illnesses that we could learn from.
The other focus is on the mental health aspects of living as part of the Aboriginal community.
Come together and talk about spiritual, emotional, social growth and well-being.
And managing the grief, loss and trauma, something close to many Aboriginal families.
Looking at encouraging our community to try and look at their grief journey in a better way.
It's about giving people tools to help deal with the issues in their life.
Health bodies are hopeful the day's diversity makes Aboriginals feel comfortable to manage their health.
Something that we love to see and something that's really important for us.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, a visitor boom on the West Coast as Silo Art attracts tourists from across the world. That's next. 3 men are facing a number of charges following yesterday's stabbing in Broken Hill. Police allege one of the men, armed with a knife, stabbed a 35-year-old man multiple times, while the other 2 held him down in the town's main street. The victim suffered non-life-threatening stab wounds. The trio fronted court today. The Broken Hill Hospital is taking extra steps to prepare for the onslaught of patients as winter arrives. More staff will be on call as the temperatures plummet, with a focus on seeing residents as soon as possible.
Winter has arrived and the Broken Hill Hospital is ready.
We know from previous experience that we usually have an increase in activity of somewhere between 5 to 10%.
While it hasn't seen a spike in patient numbers yet, it's preparing for the even colder months ahead.
We have available additional staff. We flex up in our staffing levels. We also look at ways we can accommodate patients when required. So if an area is overused, we look at what is the next step to actually use the physical space that we have.
From June to September last year, the hospital saw more than 7,000 patients through the doors of its emergency department. The community is being urged to consider visiting their GP for less serious illnesses.
If they're seriously ill or concerned around their health, the hospital is always open and always ready to help people.
Flu shots continue to be pushed around the country. The state government has spent over $20 million on statewide immunisation programs this year, with combating influenza a key factor. 500 local health staff have had their annual jabs.
We also encourage the broader community to make sure they see their GPs and have the flu injection where they can. And it is about just taking those usual precautions around hand washing and covering your face when you sneeze, and to try and minimise the risk that actually goes with that.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Well, it's been several months since the humble town of Tumby Bay was transformed into a mural and street art mecca. Local project organisers are beyond belief at the positive feedback received from around the world.
The feeling when you know you've achieved something great for the local community.
I think, if we're honest, it's probably exceeded our expectations.
The street art complementing this silo art, it's really worked for us. It's been a tremendous result.
The positive result has been realised in the form of comments from visitors locally, interstate and from around the world.
We've had 19 international visitors have signed our book. I think over 40 from New South Wales, over 60 from Victoria, over 30 from WA, quite a few from Queensland, and 3 from the NT, 3 from Tasmania, so pretty widespread.
Bringing a welcome boost to the local economy.
I think it's pretty exciting to see visitors into town at a time of year where it's traditionally a lot quieter, but the numbers have shown that there are more people coming through and staying for longer.
One business that's particularly felt the benefit is the local caravan park.
It's a caravan park, yeah. I mean, their season's been greatly extended. This time last year, they said they had 3 vans in the park. They're still getting pretty much 100% occupancy.
And for those visitors adding comments as to whether the mural is the right way up.
Why is it upside down? Well, it's art. It's allowed to be upside down.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
St Mark's College in Port Pirie is undergoing a multi-million-dollar transformation of its campus. A new STEM centre and a state-of-the-art gymnasium are currently under construction, providing students with a brand new learning experience.
The metal frames of what's to become modern learning facilities are now set in place at St Mark's College. It's hoped the new STEM centre will enhance students' creativity and thinking when it comes to all things science.
Design, for building, for display, for young students to explore a whole range of scientific kind of questions.
The Year 11s and 12s will have full access to the science labs, and an open learning space will cater for the younger year levels.
We have 2 traditional laboratories, science laboratories, which will be in an upstairs mezzanine area, and then underneath will be creative and flexible spaces.
And across the school oval, a brand new gym is currently being built. It'll be the size of 2 basketball courts and feature spring flooring. It'll also cater for nearly every sport taught at the school and include viewing areas for spectators.
Seating capacity for about 200. It'll be air conditioned. There'll be canteen, offices, an exercise physiology room are a part of it.
And if it all goes to plan, students will be learning in the multi-million-dollar facilities by the end of the school year.
The STEM centre and the gymnasium are 11 million.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
After the break, Indigenous artists encouraged to get their works in for an art prize. Details next. Aspiring Indigenous artists are being urged to get their entries in for the annual Malka Aboriginal Art Prize. Creators across regional South Australia are encouraged to show off their creativity, with entries closing in little over a week's time.
At the end of this month, this room will be splashed with a colourful array of creations for the annual Malka Aboriginal Art Prize. The show of creativity is open to Indigenous applicants north of Adelaide.
We've had entries from people in Port Augusta, Port Pirie, Coober Pedy, Port Lincoln, Ceduna, so it attracts Aboriginal artists from all around the state.
The exhibition raises the profile of Aboriginal culture and supports established and emerging artists.
The majority of artists use acrylic on canvas, but you can be as creative as you like, so you can do sculptures, photographs.
I love to go to the exhibitions because then I can see other people's artwork and their ideas.
For Leela Marie, the yearly event is quite the family affair. Her mum won last year's People's Choice Award, and her late Uncle Marvin spearheaded the exhibition. One of the awards a fitting tribute to his achievements.
It's good to keep it going and show the community support on all the hard work that he did just to get it up and running and make it what it is today, I guess.
After a busy few years, she's dusted off her tools and is planning to enter one of her pieces for this year.
This year it's going to be something a little bit different, but I'll wait till everyone goes and sees it for themselves.
Entries close at the end of next week. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Turning to sport now, and Lions remain premiership favourites after defeating their rivals Wanderers on Sunday afternoon. John Hunt joins us now. John, it was a strong statement from the later leaders.
It certainly was, Fraser. Lions were coming off the bye, while Wanderers were coming off an impressive win against Steel United. The match had all the makings of being a close contest, but Lions didn't give the Blues a sniff, dominating from start to finish. A hat-trick from Luis Coloratolo helped Lions to the win. 3 first-half goals effectively ended the contest, as Lions romped to a 4-0 victory over Wanderers. In the other match, Croatia kept within touching distance of them, with a 3-0 win over Steel United. Savoy's strong start to the Amateur League season continued, with the Port Pirie club defeating SBS FC 2-0, while their NPL SA neighbours Northern Demons remained 7 points off promotion, after a 3-1 win over Modbury Vista. In Broken Hill, St Joe's and Alma split the points in a 1-1 draw, while Celtic had a strong win over West. And in Port Lincoln, a hat-trick from Hakim Turkham helped Sekul to a big win over the Knights, while the Raiders defeated South Coast 3-1. Switching codes to netball, in Whyalla, True Blue had a big win over YCW, and Warriors overcame Kiwi 48 goals to 34. Railways remain undefeated in Port Augusta, with an emphatic 60-37 win over St Joseph's, while the Magpies broke through for their first win this season in a thrilling 1-goal win over the Vikings. Down in Port Lincoln, Boston defeated Lincoln South, Wayback narrowly defeated Wanilla, and Imperials were too strong for St Mary's, winning 46-28. One match in Broken Hill netball last week, where St Joe's defeated West Flames by 22 goals in a top-of-the-table clash. And in northern areas, first place Oruru had an easy win over last place Crystal Brook. BMW were too strong for Southern Flinders, and Broughton Mundura staying second after a win over Jamestown Peterborough. That's all in sport this week. Much like the footy, the long weekend will be the scene of a number of representative tournaments. Netballers will be in Adelaide for the countries, while our best local junior soccer talent will hit the city for the Junior State Championships. Good luck to everyone involved, and we'll bring you all those results next week.
We sure will. Thanks, John. We'll stay with us after the break. We'll have all the local weather details with Amy. And the sun was certainly shining around the Gulf today, Amy.
It sure was, Fraser. However, rain looks to be on the way as we settle into the week. All the details are next. Welcome back. Well, it was nothing but sunshine around the region today. After some morning fog, the mercury rose to 19 in Port Augusta. Whyalla and Port Lincoln sat at 18 degrees, while Broken Hill was sunny but slightly cooler. Taking a look at the satellite, and a weak trough is bringing a few light showers to the coasts, hills and ranges. However, skies are staying mostly clear in the north, with dry winds leading to low overnight temperatures. If you're heading out on the waters tomorrow, northerly winds will pick up to 25 knots, with seas reaching 1 metre. Sunrise is at 7:18, while it will set at 17 past 5. Another mostly sunny day forecast for tomorrow. Port Augusta and Whyalla will cool down overnight. However, maximum daytime temperatures will reach 19. Port Lincoln and Woodna will see a top of 20, while Clare will only get to 16 degrees. Heading towards the weekend, and rain is predicted for Port Lincoln. However, it's set to clear by Saturday. A wet couple of days in Cleve and Woodna are also expected, with temperatures sitting in the mid to high teens. Rain will clear in Whyalla by the weekend, with a high of 18 on Saturday. Port Augusta is in for a mostly sunny weekend after a wet Friday, with sunshine returning in Kadina also, and a top of 17. Temperatures in Port Pirie will reach 18 on Saturday as rain clears there. Maximums in Clare will continue to sit in the mid-teens into the weekend, and after a sunny few days in Broken Hill, showers are expected to close out the week. So Fraser, hopefully the rain arrives in the areas that needs it most in the next few days.
Thanks, Amy, and that's all the local news to now. Thanks for your company. Good night.